To propose a $10 tax on each barrel of oil. The goal is to help fund clean transportation, but the cost will likely trickle down to people driving their cars, raising gas prices by about a quarter per gallon. The White House says the plan would be phased in over 5 years. Republicans in Congress immediately shot down the idea. Now the question is, will the president's proposal have enough support to make it through Congress? That's our topic this half hour, and we want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page. You can weigh in on our wall there, or you can weigh in on Twitter. If you like Twitter better, use the hashtag Fox26forlife. Joining us live in our newsroom is our panel led by our senior legal analyst, Chris Tritico, our news analyst, Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst, Jackie Valley. So what do you think? Does this have any shot of making it through Congress?
This tax has as much chance of passing Congress as Vladimir Putin does of winning the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, it is not going to happen with this Congress and this president, period. I just don't see it happening. I understand what the president's saying, and quite frankly, his motivation, in my view, is a good motivation, but I question the timing of asking for this tax when the oil industry is reeling the way it is right now, Jackie Valley. I mean, the oil industry is bleeding jobs. Even though the country is creating jobs still, the oil industry is bleeding jobs. Why add an extra tax on top of it?
I agree. This is not good timing for the oil industry. This is not the first time this has been proposed. It was proposed during midterm, and at that time, the president was opposed to it because it was not very good for him with election purposes. So I guess now that he's not seeking re-election, now he's pushing it. So the Republicans are not going to be in favor of it the same way Democrats were not in favor of it last time.
This is never going to get through the House of Representatives. Even if the Senate votes it out, the House is never going to approve this.
It's likely not to get through it, but look, oil used to be $100 a barrel. Oil is now in the mid-20s. So if you think about it, the best time to add something is when oil and gas prices are so low. And we have to find a way to build our infrastructure. We need high-speed rail, we need more roads, we need transportation. Every time you sit on a road and you're idling, you're burning gas, and that money's coming out of your pocket. And we're losing a lot of time on the streets, not being with our families, and this is one of the ways to fix that.
Is there a better way to raise revenue? I mean, I do agree that the president, his idea is a sound idea to raise revenue for high-speed rail and other infrastructure issues. Is there a better way to raise that revenue?
Well, you're hearing people who are opposed to this. Several things are being brought up. We're now at the point with such a huge deficit that we have to look at other ways to save money, and the money that you have, the savings that you get, then you can put into infrastructure in other areas. Also, with this proposal, it's saying that no matter what we raise, regardless of the number we raise, we have to put all of it in this particular sector, and some of that money could be used for education and other purposes. So there are a lot of flaws with the way that this is being proposed.
Well, there's nothing wrong with saying I want a $10 tax and I'm going to put 100% of it on this project, is there?
Well, you need to find revenues. I mean, I think with the constant conversation, we can cut, and fix education and fix transportation. That's really not the case. We're going to have to find additional revenues. The best thing to do is to figure out a way to do with the oil and gas industry.
Let me go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
Check in on Twitter here. Carla says this needs to happen, and now is a good time to do it. You know, with gas prices as low as they are right now. T. Boone Pickens says, don't know where to start. Dumbest idea ever. And then House Speaker Ryan says this announcement proves President Obama is still on a mission to destroy a major backbone of the U.S. economy. What do you guys think about that?
Well, first, who would have guessed T. Boone Pickens, a oil man, would be opposed?
Right, it was a bit of a shocker, right?
Yeah. That's right, a bit of a stunner. And you know, Speaker Ryan, that's exactly the point I was trying to make. The House is never going to pay attention to this. But the problem is that we haven't paid attention to infrastructure in this country in years. A huge number of our bridges need to be replaced, and the government does not have the money to do that. So if we're not going to do this, how are we going to fix the infrastructure issues that we have?
Yeah, and you look at a lot of local cities, a lot of smaller cities, and they usually go to the government with an 80-20% match through transportation improvement programs. And a lot of those cities will do that through their own revenue sources. So we're going to have to look at the smaller regions and the smaller counties. You're looking at, for instance, a lot of our county judges here are looking at trying to have a management system and where they can manage their own infrastructure. This is not something that's going to be solved nationally. It's something that we're going to have to look at locally.
Real quick, we got to go.
Well, look, federal infrastructure dollars are critical in order to do big projects. They just can't be done locally.